Welcome to the Fully Involved Podcast. Special guest today, Jacory Harris, from former Miami Hurricane quarterback, now current Miami-Dade Fire Rescue firefighter. Jacory, welcome.
Welcome, man. Thank you for having me, man. You make me feel old when you say former.
Wow.
It sounded like it was,
You know what? You're always a king. Always a king.
hey, once a cane, always a cane, man.
Boom. So thank you for coming down.
No problem.
And hey, man. So first of all, for the people who don't really know you, tell me a little something about yourself and who you are.
You know, regular dude, Jacory Harris, played ball here in Miami, Miami Northwestern, University of Miami. Then I also had some opportunity to play professionally for Philadelphia Eagles for a short stint, and then I was in the CFL for 7 years. And once I was done with that, transitioned over to I was special tax manager with Parks and Rec with Miami-Dade, and then went straight here from that to fire, and been here ever since. Not going anywhere.
Hey, I love it, man. Glad to have you. So like, you always a Miami person? Did your family grow up here, or did you move from someplace else?
I've been here all my life. Born and raised. Was born at North Shore, raised in Liberty City for a little while, and then moved up to Miami Gardens, Carroll City, back in the days. So in my family, they're from here. We have a little bit of Bahamian blood in us, but other than that, we're strictly Miamians.
All right, man.
Yes, sir.
So you went to school and played some ball. Let's talk about your high school career. I know you balled out. You know,
Oh man, high school was amazing, man. It's crazy because ninth grade was when I kind of really got introduced to playing quarterback. I had a guy, Christopher Perkins, who was my coach in JV, junior varsity, who really took me under his wings and taught me everything that he knew about playing that position. And he had an opportunity to, play collegiately, professionally, and he was pretty good. So he was somebody that I learned from, and who really taught me everything that I know. And I owe a lot to him. And him helping me develop into a quarterback, because at the time I didn't even take football too seriously. I wanted to be a basketball player.
What?
I thought I was going to be the number one pick. I wasn't that good, but in my mind, as a competitor, you always think that you're better than everybody else. So it was something that he helped me, even though the ways that he went about things, when I look back, it helped me get to where I am.
old school coaching.
Old school coaching, man. I'm talking about tough love. He had it where I had to choose between basketball and football. I ran for Mr. Northwestern, and he made me do elbows and toes. It was punishment. He was like, "What, you want to be a politician or a football player?" But when I look back at it, I swear everything that man taught me, every lesson, every hard practice, every drill, everything that man taught me, he helped me become the man that I am. Without him, and my father, of course, I wouldn't be the guy that I am. Because, in the 10th grade, that's really when I had to make that transition to thinking that, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to play quarterback, and I'm going to play football. And I started taking things seriously, and it helped me start 11th grade to 12th grade, never lost a game.
Never lost a game.
Well, I never lost a game in high school, period, as the starting quarterback.
Really?
JV, junior varsity. When I got up to varsity, never lost a game.
So did you guys win a state championship, or like how would?
So we were the national champions my
Really?
senior year. We finished number one. We started number one we started number one for the season, and we finished number one. And my junior year, it was just a regular state championship because we were not just getting on the map, but we were undefeated, and everybody was finally taking notice of us.
Right.
And we the next year is when we finally took the throne.
Man, excellent job, man. Didn't know about that.
Yeah, it was fun. We had a great time over there.
So like your senior year, did you know what college you want to go to, or you just knew from the get-go that you were going to go to the U?
It's crazy because, unless you were there, not a lot of people knew my process. I ended up committing to the University of Miami. Of course, I wanted to go to the University of Miami. I ended up committing there, and I was sitting at home watching them play. It was like a throwback game. Not really throwback, but a couple years. It was Kenny Phillips. He caught a pick versus Georgia Tech in overtime, and it's like when I seen that brotherhood and everybody running on the field and everything, it sparked something in me, and
That was it.
I wanted to be a part of that. So I remember calling the coaches, and they was in a meeting, and I think it was Coach Hurt who I called, Clint Hurt, and I was like, "Hey, Coach, I got something to tell y'all," and he was like, "Hold on, let me we in a meeting right now. Let me put you on speaker." I like, look, I want to commit to the University of Miami, and I heard a whole office go crazy, and I explained to him why. But also after that, I also went on a visit to the University of Oregon,
Uh-oh.
and that's where things started to get a little foggy because Oregon was running the same exact offense that I was running in high school.
Oh, wow.
So for me, it would have been a smooth
Easy
transition.
transition.
But ultimately, I decided to stay home. I wanted my family and everybody to be able to see me every weekend. So I was like, look, I'll make this sacrifice to stay home, even though University of Miami is where I
We
wanted
want
to
to play
be.
in cold weather, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we wanna play in
And
the
it was
cold.
cold, rainy. But it was a beautiful place. I'm not even gonna lie. I can't sit here and lie and say Oregon didn't almost have me. Like,
Wow.
I can't lie and say that because Oregon was at the time. In high school, everybody knew them for having like 360 different combos of jerseys, and then when you take a visit there, you see how beautiful the place is. You see how green the grass is. It's just then you realize on the way back home, this is a long flight. It's nothing really to do out
Different
here.
time zone.
Different time zone. My parents probably will make one game a year, and those things. I see why they kind of shy away from recruiting on the East Coast because it's a big difference.
Big difference.
Yeah, it is.
It's like my daughter, she lived in New York and she just moved to California. So going to New York is nothing. I jump on a plane, a couple hours, I'm good. Cali, it's a whole different ball game.
Whole different ball game.
Whole different ball game.
Waking up different. It's totally different.
West
man.
Coast, East Coast, big transition.
Even though I love Cali, I love LA.
I'm going in 2 weeks.
Hey, have fun.
I'm gonna have fun for both of us. So you commit to the Hurricanes and then you get to college. What's the difference between college and high school? Did you notice a big difference in athleticism, talent?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Those guys are huge, and me coming in, I was 162 pounds.
Yeah, we saw that.
Soaking wet, man, and that was something that I knew I was gonna have to get better. I have to get bigger, stronger, faster, everything. But at the end of the day, I was one of those people that was, confident in myself, not overly confident. I wasn't no arrogant person. It's just cerebrally, I understood that I will outthink you guys. Yeah, you might have the size and the speed, but I feel like I'm smart enough to get past that, find a way to get past that. And I think that was my biggest strength.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I always tell like the guys, Stephen Morris, Robert Marv, Taylor Cook, all these guys that played with me.
Names.
Yeah, all these guys that played with me, played quarterback. I used to tell them I'm an honest person. I'd be like, yo, when it comes to being gifted as a thrower, you guys are better than me when it comes to throwing. But when you put me on the field, getting us out of these situations, putting us in the right play, making the right decision, throwing the ball on time, hitting the windows, doing all that stuff, I know I can do that better than you guys. And I'm here to help you. I'm not here to sit up there and know I can do this and not help you get better at it. I used to sit with Steven after practice and we throwing fade routes and I'm trying to show him, hey, you don't always have to throw it back shoulder and just drill the ball. You can put some touch on it. You could do this. You could do that. You could throw the ball 100 yards. But when you got a running back a check down in front of you, you're throwing the ball too hard.
Right.
So let me
Bounce
teach
off
you how.
his chest.
Yes, and these guys, running backs ain't used to catching the ball like that. So you gotta be careful with them.
Right.
So, I was that type of guy. I would always stay out to practice and help whoever I can help, because at the end of the day, I feel like it helped me get better as well.
Right.
We all getting in work. It's helping me build that friendship and continue being the leader that I was, and that was my way of leading.
How did the guys feel? Did they feel maybe you were viewed you as a threat because you guys are playing the same position? Did they take the words that you said like you weren't trying to like trip them up, or they took it as you were looking out trying to help them?
I really can't say if everyone thought that. I think only one guy, probably Marv, because we did have our differences, I guess, towards the end of the season when things weren't going his way at the time. But other than him, and we're
It's natural.
yeah,
That's gonna happen
it's
because
natural.
somebody's coming for your job.
And that's the thing. I didn't expect things to just be fine and dandy. I
Right.
understand you trying to compete, and maybe I should have been better at at being more hungrier and keeping some things to myself. But that wasn't me. That's not my personality. So I'll
Right.
never change who I am. And he was probably the only one that we bumped heads about some things, and it was
That happens in football.
It
There's
happens.
fights in practice. There's always something going on.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we're gonna come together when it's time to come together.
Yep. And I always been that person. Always been. I'm not one of the guys that I'm not about confrontation like that all the time. I try to. I feel that way because I know where I want to be
Right.
in life, and I understand that some decisions you make early on in life or in the present moment might affect your future.
Of
So
course.
I try my best to think about stuff before I react.
Right.
So it's been some situations to where, I wanted to put my hands on certain people, but at the same time, I sit back, I
Big picture,
reevaluate
big
the
picture.
situation. I'll be like, dang, you know what? If I want to be this, if I want to be that, if I want to be the mayor, if I want to be the president of the United States, it starts now.
Of course.
It's not nothing that's gonna happen. I can't work on it in the future. I got to work on it now. So that's how I think. Even when I go out, if I'm out in the club or anything like that, I see pictures. Somebody want to take pictures, and I got a drink in my hand. I put my drink down. I never know who I'm gonna be later on in life. I don't know what I might be. I might be an advocate of of people not drinking or something. Who
Right.
knows?
And whatever's put on Facebook is gonna be there
it's
forever.
gonna be there forever. So I try my
Forever.
best to let me dictate my own life.
Of course.
Yeah.
So you work your way up. You finally. What was it like when you first started? When you got the job? They were like, "Hey, it's all about you."
Football wise, right?
Yes, football wise.
Yeah. That was 2009, and it was. I kind of. For some reason at University of Miami, they always made me compete for my job. I could ball out one season, and then turn back around. They like, all right, it's gonna be an open competition. I'll be like, all
You're like-
right, cool, and yeah, you know what, cool, let's do it. And every time I prevail, and it's like it's like a slap in the face, but then I don't take it that way. I take it as, you know what, y'all just gonna make me better. So 2009 was when I really took over, and the way we started the season was amazing. We played against Florida State. It was the only game on TV Labor Day in September, and it ended up being, I guess, a classic game when people look back at it.
Oh, you're gonna make me go back and watch that. 'Cause
Yeah,
how is that rivalry? Let that Florida State, because that's like you
Hey.
can almost lose all your games, but we can't lose to Florida State.
Yeah, you're right. And you have to be in that moment on the field to understand how amazing it was to be at Florida State.
Oh, you played them at Florida State.
Yes, and it was sitting in the middle of that field, listening to people chanting and doing their war chant or whatever it is, and everybody hates you. I love that. Like, it's like, dang, I'm about to disappoint all you guys right now. Like, that's exhilarating, and but also you watch this rivalry on TV as you're growing up as a kid,
Right.
and you see all the great players that's went through the University of Miami, that's went through the University of Florida State, and you respect that rivalry so much that you want to make sure that you have, you leave your legacy.
Yes.
And I felt like I've left my legacy at the University of Miami, on that field at Florida State. That's something that can never be taken away from you.
Dude, I get chills just thinking about it. Those
Yeah.
games it's just always gonna be, it's gonna be a banger.
Yeah.
Boys gonna be bringing it.
Yeah, it don't matter if both teams aren't that good this year or they're both good. The game is gonna be good no matter what. Even if they come out there and compete, everybody comes and compete. Everybody plays hard.
You probably know everybody or play with
Yeah,
somebody.
you know everybody played with somebody. Everybody either from you from Florida, so you really don't have too many people that's from out of the state. So down here in Miami, you either going to Florida, you either going to Miami or Florida State. Up there, I'm pretty sure you even go to Miami or Florida State. So that's how the state of Florida is, and it's something. It's the best rivalry in college football to me.
If you had to pick a game in your college career that was like the best, where you said, "Man, that was a good game for me." Which one? Which
course,
team?
of course, that one would be
That
it.
would be it.
But I've also had some moments in games that were like better moments. Like I remember playing against University of Virginia my freshman year, and at the time, for some reason, they would always put me in to be the savior, Jacory, get in and bring us back.
What?
And I used to hate that. Like in my mind, I'm like,
just put me from the jump.
yes, that's how I felt. Especially when we played the University of Duke. And at first, thank you. That was my mindset. I'm like, why in the hell we losing to Duke? We should not be losing to Duke. It was 17-7. It's crazy. My boy Thad Lewis was the quarterback over there at Duke. And it's like, Duke is Duke. No matter if they're good.
Basketball school.
It's a basketball school. Duke is Duke. We don't lose to Duke, period. And I got in. They put me in. And cause we used to do a dual quarterback system, so they'll start Marv and then put me in on the third series. So when I got in, I already know I'm finna get my opportunity. Let me do what I gotta do. Had a good drive right before halftime, but we ended up getting nothing. But then they were like, "All right, Jacory, you're gonna start the second half, and then if anything happens, we're gonna put Marv back in." I'm like, "What? Okay, get back in." We win the game 49-24. So we score 42 points in the second half. Yeah, 42 points, and they score 7. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm the starter.
Marv coming in after me.
Yeah, not even. Marv ain't coming in no more.
Even if he come back, if he ever come back in.
The next week, I think we played Wake Forest maybe, and they like, hey, look, Marv's the starter. We're going to stick with Marv. Marv goes out there and have a good game. But I still playing the game, do what I do. But then they take me out. I do my little 2-3 series. They take me out, put Marv back in. He ended up having a good game. So I'm like, oh, okay, here they go. Then the next week we play Virginia. You don't lose to Virginia either. And we're losing. I think that game, it was like 17-10 in the fourth quarter. I get in on the last drive. Marvin, I think he done threw like 3 picks already. I get in on the last drive like 90-something yards. We score a touchdown, send it to overtime.
Bam.
And the play that sent us, that got the touchdown, like I credit the receiver for being on the same page as me, because he had a post route going back towards the right, but I was getting pressured from the right, so I'm rolling left. And as I'm rolling left, he's still running right, and I just throw the ball to the left corner. I just put some air on it to see if I could give him enough time to stop, turn around, run back over there and get it. And I put enough air on it, and when he stopped, the DB ran into him, got a PI, and then he still caught the ball back in the end zone to send it to overtime.
Boom.
And when we got to OT, I threw a fade route to Aldarius Johnson for the game, and that was another time where I was like, okay, cool.
It's my job.
I've done it again. This is my job.
I expect to be the starter.
Hey, Marv's going to be the starter. I said, okay, let me call Chip Kelly. Hey, Chip, I want to go to University of Oregon. It was, I remember calling. I was like, look, reaching out to them, and they was like, look, if you come, you got to sit for a year, because the rules were different.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, but these guys here, man, like, I'm doing what I have to do, and they're still, they told me, hey, we're going to run a spread offense. That's what got my mind really off of the University of Oregon. So I ended up like, okay, I'll stay committed to UM. Then I get here, and it's, okay, yeah, you beating a person out as a freshman, but we still going to do dual quarterback systems and stuff like that. So, it was a little bit up and down through my career with certain things, but ultimately it was the best decision I ever made.
Like, that's got to be a little difficult, especially maybe harder for maybe you can speak on the quarterback position because I played D line. I didn't play anything on the level that you played, but like you get into a rhythm, you get into a flow, you start to see what's happening, what they're trying to do,
Yeah.
and then you out and you're back in and you don't know
Yeah.
if you're going to start like.
And look, the thing is, we didn't have the iPads and stuff that they have, the technology they have on the sideline now. You just call up whoever's sitting upstairs and they'll tell you. So I try to pay attention as much as I can, but you don't. Once you out of the flow, emotions change, things happen, defenses switch up different things. You can't really see it unless you're in it.
Yes.
So it does affect you, and and then also in my career, I had like 3 different offensive coordinators. So it was like every year I had a different playbook that I had to learn and I had to start all over and do all over. So
in 3 different offensive
yeah,
coordinators.
in 4 years, 3 different offensive coordinators. Yeah, my
Come
freshman
on, man.
year, sophomore year, and then senior year. And senior year was the one where me and Jed Fish we clicked. It was one of those, like, just talking to him and him finally realizing, like, dang, Jacory, you telling me you used to call all your own plays in high school. Why haven't they allowed you more responsibility in the offense? And why have they handicapped you in a sense to where you get out there and you see things and they don't allow you to make adjustments. They don't allow you to change a play or to even make suggestions. And I used to tell them, I'm like, look, I have no idea. I used to get cussed out of meetings for making suggestions and everybody else on the same page as me, and they feel like I'm trying to undermine them. When at the end of the day, I'm a competitor. I want to win. So if I see something, I'm going to say it regardless of if you feel like you're 100% correct in what you're doing. I'm going to make my suggestion. And we could agree to disagree, but I feel like I put in enough time, I watched enough film to make these suggestions before I even say them. So I would think you would try, at least try to hear me out. But when you ain't trying to hear nobody out and you kicking people out of meetings, it's a lot of stuff that used to go on that I used to hate.
Yeah. I know what you're saying, but damn, no audible. You couldn't change nothing.
No.
You just had to, even though you know that I see what's happening,
Look,
it ain't going to work. You
I've
can't even
stood
do
up
nothing.
in a play. We played Notre Dame. Manti Te'o was the linebacker. And I hear him calling out each one of our routes. And he's like, hey, they running double slant with the bubble. Backside, they got an out and a go. And I'm like, Coach, they know our plays. And he's yelling, run the play. Pick. Throw a pick. Because I don't have no, I'm doing a 3-step. I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm looking at my first read, they're running straight to it. I'm looking at my second and third read, they're running straight to it. By this time, I'm getting hit, so I'm trying to make a throw, make a play, pick. And it was like that a lot to where
The whole game, we didn't make any adjustments at
No.
halftime.
Look, let me tell you, at halftime, you would see quarterbacks would switch. I told him I'm not going back out there. You're about to be fired. So it was the end of the year. Al Golden was getting ready to take over. You are about to be fired. You're not going to be here. I'm not going to have to play with you anymore. A lot of the guys at the time didn't want to get hurt because they didn't want to mess up their draft status. And, I never understood that, but I did because what they seen last year, the previous year, Greg Cooper, who was one of our best running backs, he ended up tearing his ACL, and he was on his way out. Like, he was already projected like a second-round pick. He was on his way going to the league. And for him to get hurt like that, and then it pretty much, changed the whole trajectory of his career.
Life.
Yeah, and life. It kind of scared a lot of guys that were there, especially playing in some of these meaningless bowl games. Like, we in the Emerald Bowl. It's snowing. You ain't got nothing really to lose. I mean, you ain't got nothing to gain in this game. And this is from their perspective. So it was like, hey, look, I'm not going too hard, Jacory. I'm trying to survive this game so I could move on with my life. And it's like I had to understand it and accept that with some people. And I was like, you know what? Let me not put myself in a situation where I'm finna get hurt as well, especially not hurt, but the way my OC
Right.
at the time was pretty much, I don't know if he was trying to sabotage something or whatever it was. It was just like I
Just
can't.
didn't feel right.
It don't feel right. I can't be a part of this right now. Go
So-
ahead, let Steven. And I sat there and supported Steven. I said, hey, Steven, look, go ahead, get this opportunity and do your thing. And he went out there. The coach ran the same play. He threw a pick on that play. Steven snapped. Steven snapped on him on the sideline. Don't call that stuff no more. Da-da-da-da. And then he changed everything. And then Steven went out there and balled. And I'm like, see, nobody listens to me, but, somebody else.
Sometimes you got to make them think it's their idea.
Yeah.
We come across people like that in life. If you tell them, they're going to feel it, you take it as a threat or you.
Yeah.
But if you just make them think it's their idea, you might be a little bit more successful. But,
Yeah.
But anyways, you finish up your career, big U fan.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think they're going to do this year? How they looking? Have you ever had any interaction with this new program, new coaching staff?
I actually last Thursday was down there with Coach Guidry and Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator, and I had a great conversation with them, talking to them, the defensive coordinator and the OC, and just speaking to them. Those guys are ready. They're hungry, and they have a good group of guys, and they, these are their guys. They recruited them. They're bringing the kids in. The kids look like monsters down there. So it's like, I feel like once they get everything in order and together, it's going to be a dope year.
So I can watch football this year.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not going to be pissed off every Saturday.
Not at all. Coach Cristobal, he got things in order.
Love it, because I got some boys that are Florida State, Alabama.
Of course.
And they've been talking
Yeah.
for many years. And I'm like, man, all right, we're going to come back.
Yeah, and the crazy thing, you got boys that are that. It's our fault. It's University of Miami fault. We have to do what we have to do in order for these people not to switch sides and become Alabama people or Florida State fans. This is South Florida. This is Cane country.
Yes.
So as long as we take care of business and they do what they have to do, I think they're on the right path.
Excellent. Love to hear that. There's nothing to do on Saturdays.
Yeah.
I can't wait for football
know.
to start again, man. I'm
I
like,
can't.
damn.
Hey, I was watching I watched CFL.
Okay.
So I'm happy that I know about it and I can and I can watch it because it's I don't miss out on my football. But I wish people do pay attention more to the CFL because the Canadian Football League, if you're missing out on football, is running during the summer into the wintertime, into the fall and wintertime. That game is like no other. Like, it's football, but it got different twists and different. You got your receivers, they're in motion. You have different rules, like when you fumble the ball. If you fumble the ball, somebody knock it out, the last person to touch it out takes possession. So it's almost like rugby or something. Like, you just hit the ball out, that's your possession. So it's a lot of things that people, if they would watch it, they would literally fall in love with that game. And I'm going next week, August 5th, to catch Montreal Alouettes and Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Well, speaking of that, you did play up there. So,
Yeah.
So who did you play for up there?
I played for my first 2 years was with Edmonton Eskimos, which is out in Alberta, which is okay. When not a lot of people know where this is.
Way out west?
It's out west where Calgary is. It's 3 hours north of Calgary. Yeah, even further. It's by Alaska almost.
How cold was it playing out there?
It was super cold. It was my first day of training camp, June 1st of 2013. It snowed, and I was in shorts and a T-shirt. It was hot earlier that day, and it snowed. It snowed 30-something, 20-something degrees. It dropped, and it was snowing. And I said, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't know that it was like this. And mind you, I'm at the northernmost team, like, in Canada.
Yeah.
And it was freezing.
How does that affect a quarterback? I mean, I know it affects you, but, like...
I don't understand how those guys played in that. So I ended up hurting my toe. I broke my toe diving into the end zone, and during the preseason game, I was balling. Had a great my rookie year. It was balling. Jumped into the end zone. Dude landed on my foot. and I tried to like stand up and celebrate, broke my toe. So when it came to the cold weather games, I didn't play in the game. So I was on the sideline in a jacket, warmed up, watching these guys freeze to death. And it's crazy. Look at them hit each other. I don't see how quarterbacks throw the ball because my hands were freezing. I started wearing gloves because of that.
I did a little bit of NAIA football, and we played in cold weather. And I'm telling you, that was probably one of the worst experiences. You didn't want to get hit
Yeah,
in the
you don't
cold.
want to get hit.
You don't want to get
hit.
You're like, what? That's how I broke this hand. I got stuck in somebody's face mask because it was just, I get stuck and you try to.
My thumb got stuck in the face mask and snapped.
Mm.
Yeah, on my throwing hand.
On your throwing hand.
My sophomore year in college. It was towards the end so everybody in my sophomore year in college was like, hey, what happened? What's going on? Like, you were up for the Heisman. And then everything just went like this. I never made no excuses.
Right.
Even though that's really not an excuse. It's an injury. But I never wanted it to be an excuse. So I just kept playing. And then I was told that it was only a bruise. So I just went by what my medical professionals at the time told me. So I would keep playing, and I'm like, look, something is off about this. I could feel it moving. I ended up tearing my UCL, fracturing the bone in my thumb.
No x-ray?
Look, when they want you to play, you're gonna play.
Understood.
You're gonna play. And then I had surgery January 6th and was out for 8 months. So I couldn't touch a football until like my 7th month. And I had to learn how to throw all over again. I lost a little bit of grip because now my thumb doesn't extend or open up as much as it did before. So I had to learn how to throw all over again.
So wait a minute. So when you finally got an x-ray and got the news that it was broken.
That was at the end of the season. 6 games
later.
What
did you don't have to say it, but I know how you felt because I'll tell you a little bit. It has something to do with football. My son started playing football, so I'm proud of that. And he played quarterback, and he was just like, "Hey man, my wrist hurts." He got tackled. Like, go back in there, man.
Yeah.
Came home from practice, that my wrist hurts. Hey, we're still going back to practice. I thought he didn't want to play.
Yeah.
His mother was being, you need to take him to get an x-ray. You need to take him to get an x-ray. He's good. End of the week, I said, all right, just to appease her, it was broken.
See? Hey. That's
I never felt so bad, man.
It be like that, man. And I think it's, as fathers, we have that mindset of like just toughen up. Because we had to toughen up. We went through probably some of the same things as kids. You probably done broke a bone or you've probably, got a
concussion.
Man,
walk it off.
I know I done had a couple concussions that they like, hey, get up, walk it off. But that's what the mothers are there for. We eventually will listen and eventually will see that there is something wrong.
My son reminds me to this day still.
Yeah, I know. that gotta be crazy. Like my daughter, she broke her wrist with a buckle fracture, and she fell from the monkey bars with my dad. My dad was watching her. She fell from the monkey bars. She snitches and say, "Yeah, Grandpa was texting on his phone. He wasn't watching me." So we come back because me and my wife was out of town, and we come back and we're like, okay. It don't seem like it's broken or anything. I'm like, oh, she'll be all right. Just put some ice on it. And she's like, you don't want to get x-rays? I'm like, nah, she okay. Me and my dad. And then eventually, like, she's asleep, and you can't even, like, graze it or anything because she's saying, ow. I'm like, okay, maybe we might take it in. And come to find out it was fractured. It was fractured. So it's like, I'm like, okay, she is, I barely touched her, and I wanted to see how she was gonna react when she's not paying attention to it. And if it's hurting her when she's not paying attention to it, then it's really broken.
I went to look into this.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, but yeah, man, it's at the end of the day, you do teach some form of toughness and perseverance to fight through those things. But sometimes it gets to the point where you just can't. But I don't know if you've watched. It's a new show on Netflix called Quarterbacking.
No.
And follow the lives of Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, and Marcus Mariota. If
Really?
you watch those guys, you will see exactly what goes in and day out of being a quarterback. Like
Oh, I gotta check it out. That's gonna be on
the
the list now.
hits, the injuries, the the thing that's beneficial about being in the NFL, you got enough money to take care of your body. In college, you still got to go to school. You still got little things, life you got to do. You're not making we weren't making any money, so it's not like you got your training style, but you ain't got the same equipment that these guys have. These guys got the cryo chambers and stuff now. They have these in their homes. They got personal chefs and all this stuff. So
Well, we trying to eat and go to Burger King just to get some
thank
food
you,
or something.
thank you. We're just trying to put food in our stomachs in college. So it's like the recovery is different when you got some money behind you.
Right.
So that's to me, that's what separates most is how you recover and
That's
how
it.
you heal. Because all of us could be on the same level playing field, but if you got one person that's hurt and they're trying to play through it, but they're in pain and they're not rehabbing the right way, you're not going to be able to compete with this other person now. Everything starts dropping off. But it's a great show. We got to check it out.
Definitely gotta check it out. So back to Canada. I know we took a little sidebar there, but that was good stuff, man. It's funny that we almost had the same experience with our kids.
Yeah.
So you were out there for how many seasons?
I was out there for 7 seasons.
So what's the difference between like Canadian football and American football? I know you kind of touched on it, but
Yeah.
you say it's a little faster or it's just a little different?
It's faster because it's only 3 downs.
Oh, only 3.
Only 3 downs. So, hey, first and second down, you need to get your 10 yards. If not, if you're within a yard on 3rd down, based on down the distance, you'll quarterback sneak it. And the
Okay.
reason why they quarterback sneak it is because it's another rule. The defensive line has to be a yard off the ball.
Oh, really?
So, say if it's 3rd and inches, you only need this much. The defensive line still got to be a yard off the ball.
What?
Yeah. So, it
Come
promotes.
on, man. I play defense, man. Come
I
on,
know,
you gotta
I
give us
know,
something,
I
man.
know.
You can't make it that easy for
That
y'all,
that,
man.
that league promotes scoring. So
Like NFL now.
yes, and if you look, I swear, the NFL they still plays from the Canadian Football League. You will see, like I remember, the Eagles were in one of the championship. It might have been in the Super Bowl when Nick Foles rolled out and caught the quarterback throwback pass for a touchdown in in the Super Bowl. The night before, or like not the night before, like a couple days before, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers with Matt Nichols had the same exact play. Mind you, if I'm not mistaken, on the coaching staff from the Eagles was a CFL coach, one of the quarterback coaches or something. He was now with the Eagles. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers ran this play and scored with it with their quarterback. The same motion and everything. And then the Eagles run the exact same play for a touchdown.
Ain't no coincidence, man.
That ain't no coincidence. No
Come
coincidence.
on,
No
man.
coincidence. The same motion, the same everything. It was no coincidence, and it's not like it was a normal quarterback pass. It was something that when I seen it on CFL, I was like, oh, this is pretty new. So then but it's a different game. It's fast. The field is bigger. It's a lot of adjustments that American players have to get used to. But once you see when it clicks, because once they have it, they become the best players up there. Once you put in that time.
Yeah, it's kind of made it tough to learn because you're coming from our system and going up there. So
Yeah.
there's probably an adjustment
It's
period.
still football, but also as a quarterback, you got 12 men on the field instead of 11. So the coverages are different. So yeah, when you think you throwing a seam route into cover 2, you still got a middle safety, an extra guy that's sitting right there. So it's 2 safeties with a robber. He's sitting in the middle of the field watching your eyes, and now you got to make a whole shot. Even though the field is wider, and it gives you a little bit more space to make those throws, you still got to count for another guy. It's different.
Where's the offensive extra guy? You just have another receiver?
Yeah, we
or-
got another receiver. It's however you
However
use
you
them.
choose.
But it's 12 on 12.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Learned something
Yep.
new today.
Yep. It's cool though.
So, was Philly before or after?
Philly was before. So I went to Philly.
I don't know if I can say I like that, man, because let me tell you, Philly fans,
Yeah.
is it true what they say about Philly fans?
Well,
they're very passionate.
they are passionate from what I've experienced, and the brief time that I was there, it was good. It's good to be on their side.
Yes,
It's
yes.
good to be on their
You
side.
just don't want to be on the other side.
Yeah, you don't want to be on the other side. But yeah, Philly was cool because me and Nick Foles was roommates.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we was roommates. We competed against each other in rookie camp, and then it's like once OTAs and right before training camp, everything would start. That's when I got released, and it was I remember me and Nick was in a room playing the game, and I get the call, and I'm like, what's this Philly area code? Who calling me? And it was Howie, the general manager. And he was just telling me how, oh, man, you've been doing so well. I'm like, well, you're not calling me to just tell me I'm doing great.
Right.
And then he explained, look, we don't got enough footballs to go around. And, that experience right there was an eye-opening experience because it made me understand the business side of things, because when it came to competing, I felt as though when you look at the numbers on the paper and film, I had beat out a lot of guys. But that don't matter. When you got Mike Vick was the quarterback, that's solidified. Mike Kafka had played well the year before as a backup. Then they drafted Nick Foles 3rd round, so he's automatically gonna be on the team. And Trent Edwards, they had just signed from the Buffalo Bills, and
That many quarterbacks?
yes, and gave him like $1 million signing bonus.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like, I'm the 5th guy. All these guys are pretty much paid, and they have to get their opportunity.
Right.
So if they don't give them no opportunity, it's just a waste of money. Me, I'm a free agent. It's easy to just sign me, pay me whatever you've been paying me, sign a bonus, whatever, and then get up out of here.
Right.
So, but it made me realize it's a business.
It's a business.
And you got to think like that. You can't go in this thing thinking, oh, yeah, I'm going to compete. I'm going to be better than this person. Yeah, think that, but also understand it's a business.
So real quick, how was it like practicing with Mike Vick?
Oh, that was amazing because Mike, when it was a commercial that came out about him throwing the ball out of a stadium.
Yes.
Even though that wasn't real, his arm is really like that. Like,
he can ball.
this guy would sit back there and launch a go route to Deshaun Jackson and Jeremy Maclin, 2 fast guys. He'll sit back there on the 10-yard line and let it go. And you see these guys still digging, and they on the other 20 is landing in the other end zone. And I'm like, and he's not that big. He's not that big. I thought, you see this guy who's a Hall of Famer, and you finally get a chance to, sit in meetings with him, practice with him, and you're like, dang, Mike Vick is not that big. But he's fast as hell and got a strong arm. And the guy was just talented, man. That's like, and he took me under his wing. He wasn't like no. I've been around some quarterbacks that they don't even talk to you. Like,
really?
Yeah, it's guys that don't even talk to you. They go about their business and do their thing. So,
damn,
he was one of those guys like, hey, what's up? What you doing after practice? Want to come by the crib? Him and LaShawn McCoy was like that. They was cool.
Really?
Hey, man, look, I'll help you with this, help you with that. Like, that's how they was dope.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's good to know that.
Yeah, they was good people.
Damn, not even talk to you.
Yeah,
I can understand
like
feeling
that.
threatened, but damn, at least
It's guys like that. And I feel like the money it's a separation. So it's like you got guys that make this amount, and then you got these astronomical numbers guys. And they kind of, not everybody, but a lot of guys keep to themselves, and, but everybody got families, so it's different. It wasn't like college where it's like, hey, you hanging out with your guys right after this all y'all got.
Right. So, I mean, NFL life, CFL life is over, and then you come back home. Mm-hmm. What made you think about the fire department?
My mom, she, so I did apply in 2015 when they had it open. But it was just like I seen it and I was like, oh, let me just apply. I was a free agent at the time. And then I ended up signing to, I forgot who it was, I think to Montreal. And I was like, look, they paying me. I'm not finna pass up on this money. And you make good money up there in Canada. So I'm like, let me not pass up on this money.
Of course not.
I'm gone. So I don't even know what happened with I don't even know if they emailed me back or not. I don't know. I ain't go through the process. But then I used to always hear my mom say, "Hey, one of my friends, she's a teacher, and her husband is a firefighter, and he loves it. He's been loving his job. He's been doing it for some odd years, and he think it'll be a really good transition for you." And I would never really like listen to anything. I ain't even think about it.
You in the league, man. You're balling. You
I was having a good time, making good money, so it never even registered. So finally, when the opportunity presented itself again, I applied, remembering those stories that she would tell me. And then I remember going to Station 33, and I'm talking to the EMS captain, and I'm telling him the story. And so he started looking at me, and I was like, "Yeah, man, it's I think the guy name was Mr. McCarthy, and my mom, was saying that, yeah, this was his name and all that stuff." And then he looking at me, and he looked down at his name, and he like, "Jacory, it's me." And he was like, "Yeah, my wife works with your mom." I'm like, "You the person." Like that's how it was. And it was like that.
Antoine.
Yeah. And it was just like that. And he was like, "Yeah, you telling this story," and I'm sitting up here listening like, "Wait, he's talking about me." He's talking about me. So that's how like things got started. And then I found out, as you work this job, you start realizing there's people that you know or have come across
Cross
paths with that are firefighters, and you never knew they were firefighters.
Yeah.
Like Reggie McKnight, somebody I extremely admire. He was my camp counselor when I was 8 years old, doing New Edition in summer camp. And
he was doing what?
He was the camp counselor. I think he was like 16, 17 years old. He was my camp counselor. And then I've known him ever since and never knew that he was a firefighter.
Never knew.
Then guys like Willie Williams that grew up with my dad. And he was younger than my dad, but he was like my dad's little brother.
Yeah.
And then Ron Jean, it's like Lieutenant Ron Jean. I ended up knowing him, and me and his stepdaughter used to date, but I never knew what he did. Right. I never knew, never asked. I don't ask people what you do or anything. I don't want to get in people's business.
It's like an American thing. They judge you by what you do.
Yeah,
that's like the first thing they ask you.
Yeah.
What do you do? And then they make a decision on.
I know a lot of people that ask those questions. But what you do? But I don't like asking. It's like, look, if I'm around you, I'm around you. It is what it is. I'll find out eventually. And then, and he would always, Ron always, talk about his son and how proud he was of his son being a firefighter and this and this and that. And then, ironically, I happened to go on a trip with my wife and her new friends that she had just became friends with. And the last couple that we go pick up is Ron Jean's son, Joshua Jean. And he's like, "Hey, I know you probably don't know me, but you're cool with my dad." And then I'm like, "Wait, hold on. Ron's your dad? You're Josh this whole time?" And same thing with Jamil Smith. He's a captain, one of my best friends on the department, one of my best friends, period, in life. And me and him are cool, but I was cool with his pops before I was cool with him.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know. So it's a very small world. So it's but that's the beauty of these things. I honestly think as firefighters, we should tell the younger generation about what we do more. I know we try to shy away from, telling people some of the things, like some of the benefits and things that come with the job and all that stuff. But I feel like we should be seen more, especially in our community, because it's a lot of kids that want to be firefighters or would want to be firefighters. They just have never seen them or seen anyone that looks like them.
Or how to go about it.
And I think with the help, man, like I was with Keith Bell, and Keith Bell, he took me and we did some things at University of Northwestern, which it is, but Northwestern Senior High School, and I was able to go back and do a presentation for the Medical Magnet program,
Oh, really?
And I was in the medical magnet program at Northwestern. So I wanted to be a neurosurgeon growing up. So it's I didn't know anything about fire service. The only firefighters I seen were on TV,
Yes.
and they were only involved with fires. I didn't know that they were also, medics and these, and they're extremely good medics. They pretty much the doctors that save your life on out here in the field.
We're gonna pick you up, take you out of your car, take you out of your house, and we're gonna bring you to the hospital.
Yep.
And we're it on the street.
Yep. And then and you run into a lot of people, nurses and doctors that don't understand what we do, and then when they finally realize it and see, hey, these guys get these people stable. They intubate and they doing IOs, they doing IVs, they doing all this stuff under immense pressure in front of family members, in front of cops. That's on, you're filmed, you're doing this, you're doing that. They don't understand that until they see it. And that it's an amazing job to have, and I'm proud to be a firefighter.
It's a lot of pressure, man. Yeah, like
Yeah.
you said, people don't realize it.
Yeah.
And you have to perform
Under pressure.
all the time.
Mm-hmm. And that's, I'm not to cut you off, I feel like that's why I've been blessed with football, and especially the position that I had being a quarterback, because I don't shy away from anything.
Right.
I can make a mistake. I can not be good at whatever I'm not shying away from, but I'm not gonna shy away from it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go head first.
You're used to it. You've been there.
Yeah, because the only way to learn is to do it.
Right.
And you learn from mistakes. Mistakes are not anything that's negative. Mistakes are positive reinforcements. They just let you know that, hey, next time do this. Next
Right.
time do that.
Or you just gotta be better, and you gotta work at it, and you just gotta practice.
Yep.
So you get hired. Was this the only department you applied for?
It was the only department I was applying for, only department that if I ain't get hired here, I was gonna be doing something else. I was gonna go into coaching. But I know Miami Beach was a couple guys from Miami Beach was like, look, apply.
Yeah.
Miami Beach was the same day. The test, September 10th, was the same day as this test.
Wow.
So I was like, nah, it's more opportunity in Miami-Dade for me to grow and get
do
to where
different things.
Yeah, do different things. It's more opportunity here.
So you take the test, you go through the process, which many hoops you got to go through.
Mm-hmm.
Because you just think you apply for a job and you come in for an interview and that's it.
Yeah.
No, you got to go through this,
Yeah.
you got to go through that. Make sure you're on time. Make sure you follow the
Make
rules.
sure you write in blue ink.
Make sure you, yes. They're very specific about what they ask for and you have
Mm-hmm.
to do it. Otherwise, you self-eliminate. So you get hired and you get through first day of the academy.
Yeah.
How was that
yeah.
experience?
I'm gonna backtrack on what you said first about the process, because I think it's important for people to hear, because you hear it a lot about people complaining about those small things that you got to do
Yes.
during the process, but not really realizing the bigger picture. I always take things and what is the reason? What is the big picture as into why I'm doing this? Why am I signing in blue ink? Why do I got to follow these rules? Why I got to do this? When you look at it, it teaches you discipline.
Yes.
It shows that you can follow directions. It shows that once you get on this department, these are the candidates that followed all the directions. These are the candidates that wanted more. So I don't sometimes I don't understand when, it's not everybody. It's when certain people get on and then you complain about a lot of things, which I feel like you need that 10% of people in order for the other 90% to be better. But they complain and it was such a difficult process and they hated it and this and man, it's something positive to look at in everything, because at the end of the day, if you follow those directions, I know that if my life was on the line, you'll be able to save my life. You'll be able to listen and follow the directions that was given to you by your OIC or somebody or anybody.
Get the right medication.
Yeah, deliver the right
treatment.
Everything. You'll be able to do your job the right way, and that's what it's for. It's not just to be sitting up here, okay, we just want to do this to do it. It's to self-eliminate individuals that aren't as focused or as driven Some people make mistakes. Some people make honest mistakes, but it self-eliminates most of the people that aren't driven and focused enough to get through that process. But now, once you get through the process, and that first day, I wasn't prepared for that. And yeah, I played ball and everything like that. But I let the guys know. I'm like, hey, y'all know I ain't play like receiver or linebacker or nothing like that. I ain't play an aggressive, dog position. I played quarterback. We had a red jersey. We threw our little passes and we sit to the back and we don't get hit. We the pretty boys. So I didn't, I was in shape for the CPAT. I made sure, because I had just came off of back surgery.
Oh, really? You had a back surgery?
Man, I had back surgery, and I got cleared earlier so that I could take the CPAT.
What kind of surgery? I had 2 back surgeries.
I forgot the name of it.
I had a laminectomy and then
That's
I had a
what
fusion.
it is, a laminectomy.
Okay.
A laminectomy, and they told me not to get the fusion. They told me not to get the fusion. And it was my L4, L5. And so I had to get that done, and I got that done January 25th of 2019. April 17th of 2019, I got an email saying, hey, your CPAT is May 17th. And I'm like, 3-4 months into my rehab process, and I'm like, oh, crap. So all I did, I went and got a 90-pound weight vest, and even though I wasn't 100%, every day I went and killed my legs.
Yeah.
Every day I was on the Stairmaster with that 90-pound weight vest, kept it on. I would walk from exercise to exercise, holding the 45-plate dumbbells in both hands. I just watched on YouTube and learned what the CPAT was.
Right.
And I just found exercises to mimic each thing. But I would go extra. So I was doing sled pulls with like 400, 500 pounds. Like just killing myself every day, super sore, all that stuff. Because I was like, I'm behind the 8 ball. I just had surgery. I know in a month where I got to be ready. So I want to come in and make sure I pass it first try. Ain't no second try.
No retakes.
Yeah, ain't no retakes. No. So I did that, and it ended up not being hard. Like after you get off
the more you sweat and practice, and the more you train, when it comes, it's gonna be easy.
Once I got off the Stairmaster, I was like, oh, this is not bad at all. This is how the fire service want to be. Oh, this is easy. So from May 17th until December 16th of us starting, I didn't work out a day. I literally went on vacation. I was at work. I was still working, but I went on vacation. I was in Trinidad for 2 weeks. I was in Vegas for a week. I was on 2 cruises. I was just eating good, having fun. I was like, look, I'm that type of person where I'll do everything in a spurt. Because I'm like, all right, look, I need to enjoy life now because I know I'm going to be in here for 9 months. I'm non-certified. So I said the first week going to be orientation. They'll ease us into everything. They got to teach us first before they put us through it. That was the worst decision of my life. I came in 249 pounds. I had never been over 205 in my entire life. And I was 249, and you don't even see it. You just your wife don't tell you because she still love you anyway. So it's like you complacent with that. And
your clothes didn't tell you? Because I know
my clothes was telling me.
Well, I know I got 34. That's my fighting shape. 36, I'm good. When I go to my 38s, I'm like, hey.
Yeah.
You need to tighten up.
Yeah, I'm slimming. I've slimmed back down now. But yeah, I'm pretty much the same. I'm around the same size as you, so it's like that. Those are my markers, and yeah, it was bad, man. I remember, Instructor Gonzalez, after we've been dying for about 4 hours, he was like, "Hey, go. You see that bell right there? Go ring the bell. You need to just quit. This ain't for you." And I looked at him. And I was like, hey, just so you know, I'll die before I ring that bell. And then he was like, okay, I ain't messing with you no more. He left me alone. But I was so mad at myself that I felt like I let a lot of people down.
Yeah.
I felt like I disrespected the fire service. and I'm an honest individual. Like I would tell the truth. Like that's what I felt like. I felt like how can I honestly think that like, okay, I was just gonna be this in shape, or they gonna let me get in shape type guy. Like I didn't respect it enough, and it made me respect it. It taught me very fast on, hey, this isn't football. This is totally different. You're gonna be out here in this gear for 8 hours today, and after you PTing, after we killing y'all, after we doing this, after we teaching, you finna go sit in this gear in this hot sun.
And we're gonna do some drills.
And we're finna do some drills. And it was an eye-opening experience. And I was happy that I went through that because it pushed me to be better. It pushed me to see things in a different light. And I feel like it's needed. It's needed.
The academy will definitely open your eyes.
Yes.
If you come in there half-stepping,
Yep.
you're going to learn today.
Yep. And then you got guys. It's a guy named Edward Blackshaw. He was my class leader.
Okay.
This man was 49 years old in academy. And when he went out there and was running past all of us, I'm like, this does not make any sense. He should not be beating me. He should not be doing this. Not knowing, I didn't know his background or anything, that he was military, and then he he does ultra marathons. Never heard of ultra marathons.
Never?
Before in my life. I wasn't involved in that. We run sprints. We go run. We could run. I could run 32 110s all day, and beat you. Have a 30-second rest in between. But those are sprints. I could do that all day.
Fast twitch.
But when it come to that, anything more than a mile and a half, I never understood why am I running this. Like, because as a football player, you can't go run no miles like that because you won't have the body mass to protect yourself in these games. I would have been thinner than what I was if I ran that much, because we still got to put on that weight. So it's it was a totally different training throughout the whole academy. But we had good instructors. We had guys that dedicated individuals that cared about us and taught us everything. Mark Michelle, Reggie McKnight was our lead. Instructor O'Brien, Instructor Gonzalez, Instructor Johnson, all these guys.
Give that good foundation.
Yeah, Instructor Dorval. They gave us a great foundation to help us succeed and get better. And every day they pushed us. And that was it was challenging at first, but then everything started to ease up. It's just like when you go to camp. Once you start learning, it's like, oh, okay, everything started matching. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So you get through the academy. You get your assignment. What was your first assignment? Where did you go?
My first assignment was I started at Rescue 202. But then on Rescue 202 for about 4 shifts. Well, my very first day was Engine 48 until I went to Rescue 202 the next shift. And I was there for 3 days, and then the rest was Engine 2.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I was like, what was your first call? You remember your first call?
Yeah, so my very first call at 202, which was the next day after because at 48 we didn't really do too much. It was
alarm ringing.
Yeah,
alarm
it
ringing.
wasn't bad. But first call at Rescue 202 was like 7:30 in the morning. It was a high-rise fire. It wasn't that bad fire-wise, because the fire was contained in the trash chute. It was just smoke everywhere and everything. But it was a long process, and when I got out the rescue, it's crazy. I was at Northside Towers. I see 3 people I went to school with because it was in that area where I grew up. And they like, Jacory, you a firefighter? And they thought it was the coolest thing in the world. They like, man, that's dope. Most guys finish football and then don't know what they finna do with the rest of their life. So it was dope seeing them and dope, doing that. But then like later on that night, we in dinner and then we get a call, traumatic injuries, 4 people shot and 2 adults. Well, so at first it just said 4 people shot. So, we're a little crazy in the fire service. You have to be. And, you're like, hey, we got a shooting. Let's go. But you're more excited that you're going to save someone's life.
Yes.
Not we're excited that they got shot. It's, hey, we get to go help someone.
Do what we're trained to do.
We're doing what we're trained to do. And it's, it's my first one, and I'm getting it on, one of my first days on the job. So it ended up being 2 adults and 2 pediatric patients. As we get to the truck, we hear it's 2 pediatric patients. And to see that and be on scene and to go through it, finding patients, finding a 7-year-old, and then when I bring the 7-year-old to the rescue, I see a 2-year-old in the back crying, and I'm like, hey, what do I do with this person? I was kind of taken back and frozen at first. I'm on a rescue, we're driving there, and I remember looking at a 2-year-old crying and screaming, and my daughter at the time was 2. So it was like I was stuck just looking at him, and it like threw me off for a little while. But we still had a job to do, and did what we could with the 7-year-old, and we got them to the hospital. And to see how Jackson Ryder Trauma Center is, how they operate, how it's not hectic, and that was my first trauma experience. Outside of losing my friend, and I had a best friend, similar situation, shot twice in the back of his head. But outside of that, I had never been in the same situation. So seeing that and seeing how calm they were and seeing how they just, they don't
mess around.
They don't mess around. So I'm like, look, if I break my foot and I'm in Hollandale, I need y'all to trauma alert me to Ryder because I know I'm gonna get the best care.
If you're in Miami, you're in good hands. If you don't want to go to hospital.
Yeah, you don't want to go to hospital. But if it's something traumatic happening to you, just my experience, Ryder, they're the best of the business. They take care of business, and as they should, because they get it often. But they have military people that come there and train. They have everybody come there to train and learn from them.
Get some experience before they get shipped out.
Yeah. So it was a eye-opening experience on my first day, but it actually it helped me realize from my very first day that this was the job that I want to do. Like, some people don't get that realization until later on in their careers, and from day one, watching the guys operate, I remember like Ryan Alvarez and Galuccio, and then I got Captain Atai, the way he was taking command and everything just seemed so smooth, and I admired that. Matt Armstrong, Dorville, Kirk Oil hop on the rescue driving it for us. Lieutenant, he's captain now, Feliciano. All these guys that had been through these same situations numerous times, they knew what to do.
In sync. Nothing needs to be said.
In sync.
Just word. You don't even. It just happens.
It just happened, and it was like a movie for me. Like I was on a movie set, so I'm watching because I'm the EMT that just got out. That I'm green. I don't know. Hey, I got my blue bag and a towel.
You gotta take a blood pressure and a pulse.
And a pulse. That's it. And I'm like, whoa, this is. You got guys decompressing people on scene, and to watch them bring people back to life, pretty much, is nothing else. Like, there's no other introduction I needed to show me like this is the job that, because I want to be just like them, and that's how. How people want to be like Mike. I want to be like them. I want to be like those guys.
You get to the right place with the right people.
Yes.
Where those boys bring it every shift, their entire career.
Yep. And that's I commend that. And I had a great 3 months there. Great 3 months. Got fires, got car fires, got car accidents, shootings.
Yeah, a little bit of everything there.
You get everything.
Well-rounded territory where, like you said, you're going to come out with some good experience.
Yeah, you are.
And you're going to meet some good guys there, and those are the places that you don't forget. You know the territories where the guys want to be there and they're into the job.
Mm-hmm.
They're not there for a check. They're not employees. They're firemen.
Yeah, they're firemen.
That's it, man. You can't beat that. So where are you working now?
Right now I'm back to relief. So I'm in the Aventura area.
Where gravity is the gravitational pull in Aventura is more than any other place in this world.
You run your falls, you run those simple calls like that. Every now and then you might get a little something, but it's nothing like those territories. But I will say the most dangerous thing on this job is high-rise firefighting.
Of course.
So,
it's like a city block on each floor.
Yes. So it's a total different animal, and I'm we've been lucky to not have anything too serious, but even those ones that's not too serious, you can see the potential that they have in turning into something that's on a larger scale.
That's where you have to train. You have
Yeah.
to train, and you have to continue to train because there's so many moving pieces in high rise. It's not like a house fire. You pull up, you see all three sides.
Mm-hmm.
You pull a line. You kind of have an idea where the fire is just by
Yeah.
doing your 360. But a high rise, there's many moving pieces, and that's where several crews have to be in sync.
In sync on the same page.
On the same page.
Yep. Everybody has to be on the same page because, you might have something. There's not nothing that these, and I know it's kind of weird on the fire service with I know we have these ladders and platforms and all that stuff, but in Sunny Isles and Aventura, they can't even reach the floors. Like if something's past the 8th floor, there's no way we getting no help from no stick. You can't put no stick up. So it's you on the interior that's going.
You better hope the elevator's working.
And you better hope the elevators work. You better hope there's no smoke or water in the shaft, because if not, you're gonna be hauling up some stuff. But at the same time, I appreciate the guys like Captain Parker, Tav Parker. We've here just randomly one morning, just after we eat breakfast, we pull up to the Trump Towers. We about to go do 45 flights of stairs, and you just like, oh crap, and you go do it, and that's a part of your job.
That's it.
That's a part of your job. It hurt. You gonna hurt afterwards, but at the same time, it's like, hey, this is what we're gonna have to do if we get something serious. So,
and he had that serious call. He was first in on
Surfside. Yeah,
so
on
it's just
Surfside.
like, yeah, man, they got real.
Yeah, it gets real fast, and I can't imagine pulling up to something like that, and you just see just smoke everywhere, rubble everywhere, and you like, wait, hold on, this building is gone. This building is gone.
It's a cloud dust, and you're
Yeah.
like, let me process this because
Yeah.
I know everybody's gonna know about this, and we're gonna have the world coming. So let me paint a picture as best as I can, and just set it up for success because this is a once in a career call.
Once in a career call. Those things should never happen, but they do. And just like the World Trade Center should never happen.
Never would have thought.
You never would have thought that. Just, you coming to work, regular day, and then boom, you got something like that. So this job makes you realize those things fast, because even the dumpster fire in Doral, it's not large scale, like lives wasn't lost or anything like that, but when it comes to you're at a battalion drill at headquarters and you're pulling out and you look and you see this big cloud and you're like, oh, okay, let's go over here and see what this is.
We're going that one.
Oh yeah, you're there for 12, 14 hours. People don't see those things. People, on the outside looking in, they probably think it's just, they just filtering guys in and out. No, it's the same crews that's there, and then they change when the shift change.
Yes.
So
any big plans on promotions? What do you plan on doing in your career?
So as of right now, because when I finally got on and got off of probation, I wanted to spend a little bit more time with my family. Because that 9 months of training and everything, I wasn't around them as much. And then now I've kind of gotten to the point to where I'm on the back end of trying to do a little bit of traveling, because I want to time it up to where I go get my medics and then go right into promotion.
Boom.
I've already taken, half of my drivers. I got to finish the practical part. My hazmat, I got to finish the practical part. I want to promote, but I don't want to promote just because I want to promote. I want to promote because I think I'll be good at it. And then who knows what life will take me after that. I feel like I can be an asset to the county, in whatever role that I can, be in. But I feel like I can be an asset to the county in a positive way, especially, bringing in individuals that look like me, that want to be a part of this fire service and learn the same things that I learned and learn from some of the great guys that I've been able to learn from. I think it'll be an amazing thing if we could open up some of those doors and bridge that gap. So
yeah, I think people just seeing your face, and you said you did some stuff with Keith Bell and going back to the school and the community and tell people about the fire service that they could be firefighters.
Yeah, it's I think it's cool, man. And I don't want to make it black, white, anything like that. I want to help everybody.
Right.
It's just that I know it's not a lot of me's or of black guys that are on the department that we can look up to, that are in positions where we like, dang, like you're the fire chief, you're this, you're that. Like, you don't see that often. So it's like, I want to help.
It's another avenue. It's not just sports. It's not just rapping.
You show kids that, hey, look, you can be this.
Yes.
You could be a lieutenant. You could be a captain. You could be a firefighter. You could be a fire chief, EMS chief. You could do all these things. You just gotta see it.
You gotta go out and get it. You gotta see it, and you gotta go out and get it, because it's earned. It's not given.
Yeah, earned, not given.
And you gotta do it just like everybody else.
Yep.
So we'll kind of wrap this up, man. I'm glad we had a chance to sit down and talk finally.
Sir.
I think this was fun. There's one thing I want to touch on before we go. I think we're F1 fans.
Yeah.
Listen,
I love Formula One, man.
Listen, I never heard of Formula One. I heard of it, but I didn't know what it was about.
Yeah.
And when I got the chance to see it for the first time, man, I was hooked.
Yeah, I actually, because you know how people, they be like, oh, you just became one when they came to Miami. I'm like, look, I've been watching Formula One since the first year that they brought it to Montreal. So that was probably 2015, 2016, around that. That's when I became a F1 fan. And then, of course, just like how I say about in the fire service, seeing yourself, seeing Lewis Hamilton. And I'm like, oh, crap, it's a black guy that's the #1 race car driver, Formula One driver up there. This is cool. And then you start, Pierre Gasly, Max Verstappen.
Max
I love Max. I ain't gonna lie. I love Max. Max is the real deal.
Killing it right now.
I didn't want to like him. Because, Lewis was my guy, which he is with everybody. But I'm like, look, man, the way how aggressive he is, and he really don't care about these rules. He like, look.
Not even his own teammates.
He don't care. He's trying to win. And
everything.
I love Max because of that. And he's a competitor. Young. He's doing everything that Lewis was doing when he was young, but now he's taking it to another level. And he's bringing a lot of notoriety to the F1 racing, and I love what they're doing by bringing it more to the U.S. You got the one that's opening up in Vegas.
I want to go to that one.
I want to
go to that one.
I was going, but I have a cruise that I'm going to November 11th when it's happening, and I'm mad. I'm kind of mad that I took the cruise, but Formula One was an amazing thing. I think that they brought to Miami Gardens, and
who knows who that could inspire? It could be another Lewis Hamilton in another 15, 20 years.
Imagine that. I know America has Haas, their race car.
I think the guy, he's from Fort Lauderdale, right? I can't remember the guy's name, the American driver that's in there now. It's going to come to me.
Yeah, I don't know his name. But I know Haas is from they're from America. So, maybe we could get one of these kids out of Liberty City to go do some F1 racing.
Hey,
I know Miami Gardens right now they're implementing a lot of things with F1 around the community and into the schools and the STEM programs, the science and technology programs that they have. That's trying to get the kids more involved in robotics and all these different things. So I think F1 was dope. It's something that was cool to bring down here to South Florida.
Yeah, man. I love it, man.
Yeah.
I'm hooked.
I'm hooked too. I'm hooked too. And you watch the special, you get even more hooked.
Yes.
That's on Netflix.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, The Drive to Survive, I think.
Yeah, The Drive to Survive.
Listen, what was the other one that you said? The quarterback one with
Oh, it's called Quarterbacking.
I'm going to go look that up.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
I'll go check that one out.
That one is going to be, that's inspiring. You see those guys, man, with their families, You see the preparation that they put into, becoming the guys that they are every day. And it's crazy, like, because Kirk Cousins, I went through the process with when we was in the Elite 11 camp out in Malibu. We was in Malibu and Laguna Beach and everything. So that was in high school. And going to the Peyton Manning camp with them. So seeing these guys on TV still doing it 10 years later, 11 years later, it's a dope thing to see him and to know, like, he's still the same person.
Right.
Like, Kirk was that. Everybody was trying to go out and have fun, and he was like, hey, man, I'm going to chill. I'm going to, go back and all that. And he's still the same person. So it's good to see that.
Did you come some of those camps? Did you see some of those people that you said back then you saw me like, I know this guy is special. I know he's going to make it.
I'm going to tell you I probably should have came out the year after because I'm going to tell you all the guys that I came out with. I was there at the Manning camp with Andrew Luck.
What?
Kirk Cousins, Blaine Gabbert, who's with Tampa Bay, Mike Glennon. He was a tall quarterback for the Bears. He's been around, journeyman. Who else? Landry Jones, Sean Renfree, Cal Parker, and Star Jackson, and it was another one. And then we had E.J. Manuel when I came back as a counselor. Chase Daniels was there as a counselor. Josh Freeman was there as a counselor. Mark Sanchez was there as one of the counselors. Tyrod Taylor. All these top guys. And then those are the guys I went to those Manning camp and that camp with. But then when I came out, my draft class was RG3, Andrew Luck, Ryan Tannehill, Brock Osweiler, Mike Glennon, Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins, Sean Renfree, Landry Jones, these same guys, all pretty much the same guys that we all came up together. We all went into the same class. Yeah, we all went into the same class.
You were some ballers, man.
Some ballers, man. And you got these guys that they're still in the league balling. Everybody got different opportunities and stuff like that, but they all made the best of their opportunities, and
that's what it's all about, man.
That's what it's all about.
All right, man. Hey, man, good talking to you, man. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yes, sir.
And maybe we'll do this again, man. This was definitely fun, man.
This sound good, because it's always good. I like to talk, man. I like to tell my life experiences, and whether good or bad, it's something that I think people should hear and people should know about, because it gives you when you get a chance to meet people and talk to people, you see them in a different light.
Yes.
It might be somebody that you probably don't agree with some things that they do or have, been through in life, and you listen to them and you get to hear their life experiences. You can understand why they think the way they think. So
yes,
I think we all need that.
All of us.
A lot of us don't like talking. It's just communicating through social media and stuff. So it's the communication is lacked, and these things are way. Podcasts and different interviews and different channels like this are ways to
I never thought I'd be
interact.
interested in podcasts, man.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, you 4 hours deep in.
I wouldn't have thought it either.
I didn't think we were going to be talking this long. I thought we were going to talk for like 20 minutes or
You know what's
something.
crazy?
Here we are.
When I first met you and first looking at you, I was like, God, dog, he look mean. He look mean. He look scary. He look scary. I'm like, but then when you start talking, I'm like, oh, man, this man cool, man. Like, it's just like that. But I admired you without you even knowing. Like, just seeing you, like, you're another one that, like, without just seeing you here early in the morning, working out, putting in the time that you put into your craft, I was like, dang, who is that guy? It makes you ask those questions, and you want to, I want to get to know that person, because that's somebody, oh, he's a captain. Oh, that's somebody I want to be around. Like a lot of the people's on this department, I kind of are older than me. Like, I like picking the brains of chiefs and captains and people that I aspire to be like.
Right.
Not saying anything about firefighters and anything like that, but I'm always the person that's forward thinking. Like, I know where I want to be, so let me see what they know. Let me see if let me learn these things before I get there, so when I do get there, I'll be better prepared. So. Thank you for what you do.
No, thank you for the kind words, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you guys. You as well.
All right, man. Boom.
Yep. There we go.